It just shows how quickly things can change in a society when you realise that Uber was launched in Australia less than 10 years ago. But this single business, a part of the so-called shared economy, transformed the way that people, goods and food are transported. But just as importantly, the way that people are hired and how they can generate extra income. Well, a new survey commissioned by the company suggests it generates more than $10 billion of an economic value for Australia each year. Uber's GM of rides in Australia, Dom Taylor, joins me now. Dom, many thanks for your time. It is astonishing to see the transformation that can take place from one business in the space of just a decade.
Yeah, it's great to be here, Ross. As you say, September will be 10 years since we launched here in Australia. And this is the first time we've done this. This is the first time we've looked in aggregate across our whole platform, the rides business, the eats business, and the impact that we've had on the economy, whether it be through consumers, drivers, delivery partners, restaurants or small businesses.
Because in many ways, I see you as being almost a barometer of the economy. You not only give some idea of the discretionary spending of consumers, be it on food or be it on rides, but on the other side, you can actually see the pressures that families might be feeling if they're seeking extra income. And so they take up a role as an Uber driver. I mean, both sides of it really tell a pretty decent story about the way in which Australian families are feeling.
I think that's an interesting observation. For me, the big story that's coming out here is just how discerning Aussies are as we come out of COVID. On the small business front, we can see that they're looking for every extra dollar that they can make to cover their fixed costs. We can see that restaurants made $889 extra million because of the Uber Eats apps. That's dollars that wouldn't have come through to them. On the driver front and delivery partner, as you say, they're looking at new ways to make work. Looking at ways that they can value flexibility above all things. And for the first time, we've been actually able to value that flexibility at $400 million. And then finally, in terms of consumers, we can see above everything, they're worried about their time. And so they are looking at ways that they can get to places quicker than otherwise. And that saved 40 million hours for Aussie consumers in 2021 because of the Uber Rides app.
Yeah, which is all about productivity as well. One aspect of this that always gets me is you're a disruptor, obviously, of the taxi and transport industry, and then obviously of food delivery as well, which obviously not only facilitates a service for the restaurants who participate, but then gives extra work for drivers. Are there other ways into the future where you can see disruption?
I mean, I think, we're a business that prides ourselves on looking for areas of the economy where there may be pockets of underutilisation and work out how we can bring our technology to improve that. The big area that we're doing a lot of time thinking about is the 15 million cars in Australia that are parked 96% of the time idle. We've recently acquired a great Aussie startup called Car Next Door. We can't wait to bring car share to the masses to make it as common as rideshare. And so over the coming years, we'll be looking at how we can bring together car share and rideshare with the hope of increasing the utilisation on the 15 million cars that Aussies currently own today.
Because this is, again, the key of the technology that Uber has got. I mean, knowing where those cars are, knowing where the demand lies for those vehicles, just as it is with rides, that's actually the key to actually using, as you say, underutilised assets in the community.
That's exactly right. A recent report estimated that the number one thing that Aussies can do to reduce their carbon footprint is to get rid of a car in their household. What we saw in the election last weekend was that climate was so central in the way that people voted. And really, individuals are looking at ways that they can be reducing their carbon footprint. We think being able to share cars so that there's 3 or 4 cars on every street right across Australia is such a smart way in terms of using our existing assets even harder.
Tell you what, it's a great story. We'll get more of it down the track as well. General Manager of Rides for Uber in Australia, Dom Taylor, many thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Ross.